Helping Seniors Television, all about improving quality of life for seniors. If you're a senior, know a senior, or plan to be a senior, then this show is for you. It's all about helping you develop your own aging plan so you can age actively and with dignity. Helping Seniors Television from the Helping Seniors Network of information, education, and resources.
So what we try to do is honor what Joe Steckler always wanted us to do. After all of his experience with the Brevard Alzheimer's Foundation, building up the Joe's Clubs, trying to make sure there was resources for seniors that had their families that were running into cognition troubles. When I met him 15 years ago, he was like, what I've learned is that we need that help, but we built that. Now we got to build an organization that can help every family, because not all families run into cognition issues, but all families do run into senior issues. And we need somebody that can help navigate them. So we call it Getting Your Ducks in a Row. And as you remember, we talked about 7 chapters in this. The first chapter is wellness, which is right why after we do the Knowledge College, we're going to come back and do wellness. And we have a great speaker, longtime friend of helping seniors. Her name is Tammy Lieberg. She is a let me see if I get this right, board certified geriatric advanced nurse practitioner. Was that close? So she knows what she's talking about. And she's going to share, she's got a brand new company, which I'm really excited about. It's called Senior Solutions Mind and Body. And one of her specialties, besides doing transitional care like that, she really wants us to have a conversation about senior mental health and understand some of the challenges. Because we're always talking about, let's do our exercises, make our muscles strong and things like that. But we should be talking about things that are helping us on that level too. So Tammy is going to speak about wellness in our 11 o'clock hour. Chapter number 2 is your legal plan. So we have great folks like our friends from Rhodes Law, who always are great resources. We always have this corollary in our Get Your Ducks in a Row, which is don't try this on your own. You guys can tell horror story after horror story about somebody who had do-it-yourself documents, comes in, and then Ruth or Greg, they have to sit down and start from scratch, because when you make a mistake on a document like that, it's not cheap to fix, because you usually can't go, oh, we just forgot to check this box, because you can't at that point. So it becomes very expensive to work around. Number 3 is you got to get your financial plan in order. And that I'm going to come back and talk about this for just a second as we introduce Tisha. But one of the things we talk about is, they tell you have to have a plan. Like when you're going to school, what are you going to be when you grow up? That's your life plan. And then when you grow up, they say, well, what's your plan? Are you going to send kids to college? Are you going to get a second home? You're going to save for your retirement? What are you going to do? But there's another issue that happens when you retire. You got to start thinking about, we call it making an aging plan. I love the term that you guys are adopting in the industry. I said, I'm going to use this now because aging plan sounds like you live a while, then you die. What I like about this, they call it longevity planning. And that is really good on several levels, because hopefully we're all going to have good longevity. And then secondly, we need to make sure, because this is happening as people are living longer, we got to be sure we don't outlast our money. So there's going to be a lot of stuff we're going to talk about with that today. So chapter number 4 is making a stay-at-home safe plan. That's where you can get really, really good help from people who do kind of home services. Again, just like what you do, Jennifer Barton with Seniors Helping Seniors, or like you do, Liz Taylor with Touch of Excellence. You guys go where people are. And so that's an important part of the aging plan. And then senior living options is another chapter. Organizational and transportation is another. And then we kind of bring it home with Medicare Ducks in a Row. So it gives us 7 areas that we want to consider in an aging plan. And that brings us to our speaker for today. Tisha Hill see all those initials? You're going to tell us what those mean. But I know one is like wealth manager, accredited asset management specialist. And so this is somebody who has a lot of background in financial matters. She works with Raymond James. She's kind enough to volunteer her time on our Helping Seniors board as our treasurer and helps try to make sure that we're moving all in the right direction with everything. And so she has got a great presentation called Your Guide to Longevity. Welcome, Tisha Hill. You have a clicker, so you put the light.
I will. I am not as rehearsed as Kerry, so I'm going to use my note. Thank you for having me. So yes, I have. I've been here since high school. I've been here since 1988. I graduated Palm Bay High in 1990. So the Space Coast is home, and I have been in this community my entire adult life. So I am very happy to be here. I love serving on the board and getting to know all the partners here. And it's just been a second or third year maybe. So it's been a really great experience. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today's topic is about you, defining your guide to longevity. We describe longevity planning as helping you plan today for the tomorrow you envision. We'll walk through the tools and resources designed to put more life into your retirement plan. But first, I want to mention, I joined helping seniors to expand my knowledge of the resources available to my clients, my family, and my friends. What I have found are amazing partners that I can tap in and refer to in areas of housing, insurance, and healthcare. If you're not already taking advantage of those resources right here at the center, I really encourage you to do so. It's been great for me. It's been great for just as a referral source to be able to help my clients, my clients' parents, friends, and family that are not familiar with all the resources that are available for seniors in our area. So retirement isn't what it used to be. It's longer, it's more active, it's harder to predict, and it's more important than ever to plan ahead. Many of today's retirees can expect to spend 30 years or more enjoying the fruits of their labor, and global life expectancies are increasing. The United Nations reports that we're all living longer, and that's a trend that will continue. Projected 15-year increase by 2099. That's why it's increasingly more important not simply to plan for retirement, but to plan for your finances, your health, your legacy, and beyond. Two key considerations as you age are caregiving and housing. Caregiving is not just about who will help support you. It is also who you will help support or who you're supporting today. So let's dive a little deeper into some of these that you may not have considered. Income obviously is a big one, so that's where I come in. Healthcare costs, housing, caregiving, legacy, identity protection is a real big important one. Did anyone go to Scam Jam? I missed this last one. I hear that was amazing. Looking forward to the next one. Identity protection is a huge issue, especially in the finance industry and especially in Florida with our seniors. So we have so many protections in place. And we do continuing education all the time just to get better and better at spotting those. Care needs, of course, insurance. So you probably know a caregiver if you aren't already one yourself. Our friends at the AARP 2020 report showed that around 42 million people provide unpaid care to those 50 and older. For those specifically caring for loved ones with dementia or Alzheimer's, the Alzheimer's Association estimates caregiving amounts to more than 18 billion with a B hours of unpaid help. The average caregiver spends over half of an average work week on this unpaid labor, and all of that time takes, understandably, away from other priorities. The graph showcases a study done by AARP. Almost half of caregivers experience at least one financial impact due to caregiving, whether it be holding off contributing to savings, taking on more debt, paying bills late or not at all, or even borrowing from friends or family to make ends meet. Over a third of caregivers have two or more of these financial impacts inhibiting their financial freedom. As longevity planning specialists, we can help alleviate these unexpected financial burdens that come at the cost of taking care of someone you love. So obviously, no one has a crystal ball, but we have a lot of history and we have a lot of experiences with people that have gone through these things before and can identify areas that we can put things in place so that these issues don't come up. And if they do, that we have a solution. Caregiving for those with dementia requires additional levels of support. The Alzheimer's Association estimates there are 7 million people living in the U.S. with Alzheimer's or dementia. So that you can see on the chart there, about 7 million people are living in the U.S. with Alzheimer's or dementia. 14 million Americans who are predicted to have Alzheimer's by 2050, and about 16 million Americans who are caring for someone with Alzheimer's. I have also served the last, I'm on my third year for the Walk to End Alzheimer's for the Space Coast, and it's just been fascinating and overwhelming, really, to hear all these statistics and how there still isn't a cure. We finally have medicine in place, for early detection, but we have a long way to go. Preparing your home for living longer often goes overlooked. 1% of the U.S. 1% of U.S. meets the 5 basic universal design criteria recommended for aging in place, but 80% of older adults want to stay in their homes. So that's a big issue. Obviously, our friends and our partners that are that help with assist with housing know these statistics. About 2/3 of adults age 65 or older have difficulty walking or climbing. Over 30% of adults age 65 or older suffer falls each year, and 70% of long-term care claims begin at home. So these are all things that, obviously because of statistics, that we can put things in place. So now that we know what lies below the surface, let's put your plan to work. Our approach to longevity planning is focused on helping you answer tomorrow's big questions today. As an advisor, I can serve as your center point. I've been called quarterback or, kind of the central person that people can come to ask questions. I've had clients call and ask me for help buying a car. I mean, it's just all over the place, but that's why I enjoy being part of the community so much too, because I've lived here so long and I know so many people. If I don't know an answer, I know how to find out, or if I don't take care of it, I know who to refer to. So that's been a huge benefit. So I can serve as your center point, guiding you through the important questions that make up a longer retirement. And since we all have different ideas for how we'll spend that time, I know your path will be uniquely you. So let's consider some of the questions. Will your money last your income? Will your money last your lifetime? How are you protected from harm? How will you receive the care you need? How will you spend your time? How will you give what you've gained? And now we're going to dive into each of these categories just a little. So to help you plan to meet your goals, we leverage an innovative, interactive financial planning software that enables you to explore a wide range of potential scenarios and solutions, from estate planning to long-term care and healthcare options. As I mentioned, we know fraud and identity theft are rising concerns. That's why we partnered with resources that work to empower you to protect yourself and your loved ones. Raymond James is proud to work with EverSafe to help you protect your money, credit, and identity. EverSafe can help keep you safe by monitoring your bank and investment accounts, credit cards, and credit reports for signs of suspicious activity, and is on guard 24/7. This is a service I offer to my clients. You can pay for it, but if you're a client of mine, I pay for you. EverSafe has a consolidated family dashboard, an extra set of eyes feature, specialized protection for seniors, identity theft protection, and much more. So you can add a family member or a caregiver or a guardian so that they have eyes on it as well. So it's not just you, not just me, but you always have someone in your corner. As longevity planning specialists, we understand the costs and commitment that come with caregiving. Whether you're seeking care support, serving as a caregiver, or partnering with loved ones for family care management, our resources help you navigate every aspect of health and wellness. Retirement doesn't mean closing the chapter on your life's purpose. Instead, it's an opportunity to redefine it. I tell my retired clients they're the busiest people I know. I have a lot of small business owners as clients that are still working and raising a family and all that. And then my retired clients, they are just as busy, if not more. So instead, it's an opportunity to redefine it. So this might include an encore career or volunteering for causes near and dear to you. If you're not sure what makes your heart soar, ask yourself, what activities do I enjoy and how do I stay connected with my community? What are my personal goals? When do I feel most fulfilled? We can help guide you through each facet of your life, including your post-retirement years, and connect you with resources that prioritize your well-being and happiness. And that's another reason that I also love being part of helping seniors. Ikigai is a Japanese concept meaning a reason for being. It is comprised of two words, iki, meaning life, and gai, meaning worth or event. In English, it can be translated to mean something to the effect of the reason for which you wake up in the morning. In the culture of Okinawa, it is believed that everyone has an ikigai, and it is personal to every individual. So some potential ways to thrive might be outdoor activities and exercise, like walk with a dog, or some of the other events we have going on, multi-general connections, having your kids, grandkids around, Of course, if they're not local, FaceTime and Zoom and things like that have made that much more convenient. Continued learning and encore careers, and of course, volunteering. We're always looking for volunteers here, aren't we? We're always looking for volunteers here. We have some wonderful. A legacy is so much more than what you'll one day leave behind. It's about passing on cherished memories, sharing your stories, and helping instill your values in future generations. It's about creating a gift that extends far beyond your wealth. Your journey continues. Your future is too important to leave up to chance. Together, we can create a longevity plan that'll help you confidently step into the tomorrow you envision. I just landed it. So obviously, I did not do a bunch of statistics and charts and graphs and go into all the finances. Most people know as a financial advisor, that is what I do. I am always available for a second opinion. I'm always available to, help to see if you have other ways of maybe getting some more income. My information's over here. I do have, I just got in some jar openers that have multi-use. Feel free to grab one. It has all my information on it. And also have some handouts for some of the information that I went over today. So if there's no questions. Thank you.
I'm Kerry Fink, Executive Director with the Helping Seniors of Brevard organization. And we'll have an opportunity today to talk to you a little about our president and founder, Joe Steckler. Joe, as you may remember, was a retired Navy captain. His last, among other things, while he was in the Navy, he commanded submarines. He worked in the Pentagon, but his last command in the Navy was he was in charge of the Navy's retirement home in Gulfport, Mississippi. And I kind of imagine that's probably what gave him a lifelong love for seniors and feeling that even in his post-Navy service to our country career, he would want to do things that were going to be beneficial for seniors. So he and his lovely wife, Kerry, they retired right here to the Space Coast. They wanted to be near the military base. At the time, it was the Air Force Base. Now it's the Space Force Base there in Patrick Air Force Base, or Patrick Space Force Base. And Joe couldn't stay retired. So shortly after getting here, he began his work on the Brevard Alzheimer's Foundation. And to this day, does so much great service in our community. They operate what they call Joe's Clubs, 3 independent around the county daycare facilities for seniors. Joe retired from that and couldn't stay retired. That's when I had the privilege of meeting him as he was drawing up the plans to organize Helping Seniors of Brevard, a 501c3 that has now been serving Brevard County for literally 15 years now. When I first met Joe, he wandered in off the street. At those days, we owned a TV station building because we had a very good and successful multimedia, Christian multimedia business. And Joe said, "What do you guys do here?" And I told him that we worked on everything from movies to television to radio. And he said, "I need some help. I'm forming an organization called Helping Seniors of Brevard. And the key point is," he said, "I love to do education. I think it's so important." He said, "I ran Brevard Alzheimer's for all those years and love working with families that are going through and helping them through with memory challenges. But," he said, "I realized some families deal with cognitive issues, but every family deals with aging issues." And he said, "I really feel like there needs to be another nonprofit that can do this work." And so that's how Helping Seniors of Brevard was organized. And it was designed to operate the county's senior information helpline, which last year took over 4,000 calls by itself. It's that free call at 321-473-7770. And then in addition to that, we now also operate we call it Joe's Senior Resource Center of Brevard. It's a 5,600 square foot facility right here in the beautiful Omni Medical Care building. It's called the Apollo Professional Tower at 1344 South Apollo Boulevard. But in addition to that, Helping Seniors has always been invested in bringing education to seniors. And that was one of the reasons that Joe said, "I need your help." All those years ago, he said, "I want to do TV, I want to do radio, I want to do articles. I want to make sure families are getting the information that they need so that they can make good aging decisions." Joe always called it an aging plan. We euphemistically call it getting your ducks in a row. But whatever you call it, it's important, and we want to be there as a service to all seniors and their families in Brevard and help them navigate senior issues. I always explain we were caregivers for our mothers, And thank God we had the ability to talk with Joe and Nancy and some of the great people in the Helping Seniors organization to be able to get some guidance along the way as different things would pop up, because you could consider yourself to be very smart and very good in your own race lane, if you will. But when it comes to some of these things, senior, it's the first time many families hit these, and they really need help from an experienced voice that says, here's a couple of ideas. Let's focus in on that. So as you know, Joe was active in the Helping Seniors organization from its inception through his entire rest of his life. And one of the things that we were talking about, literally the last day that I talked to Joe, which was the day before he passed, he said, Kerry, he said, we've got to keep this going. He said, the need for seniors is so great. And this is just how Joe's spirit was. He said, Kerry, he said, and this was his precise words, there's anything you can do to use my predicament, again, Joe's word, my predicament, to help keep this going. He said, I want you to tug at some heartstrings and get people to support the work of helping seniors. He said, it's so important. We were trying to find the right balance of how do we honor Joe? How do we do what he asked us to do, which is to make sure that we organize funding for the organization and think about the future of helping seniors so that we can keep Joe's vision moving forward. So we came up with a term called Friend of Joe. If you know Joe or ever had the pleasure of meeting him, he was like the best friend a senior could ever have. He was a fierce advocate on their behalf. He was a kind soul about understanding the things that seniors would go through. I remember him saying, Kerry, getting old isn't easy. It's not for the faint of heart. And he was always a friend with a kind word for our seniors in Brevard County, wherever they were, and regardless of the situation that they were facing. And so we came up with Friend of Joe as for those of you that would like to join us in honoring Joe, here's how the program works. We're asking you to join the Friend of Joe Honor Roll. So this is the thing that we're doing where we want you to stand alongside with those of us in the Helping Seniors organization who have made the same donation. We're asking for a $200 donation into adding your name to the Helping Seniors Honor Roll. You can do it anonymously if you'd like, but Joe had so many friends, it's really fun to list the names out and some of the kind thoughts that people are sharing with us. There's already been dozens of people who are joining Joe's Friend of Joe Honor Roll. At the end of the year, we're hoping that we're going to have a very, very big section of our Helping Seniors News, which, as you know, we publish center section of the Senior Scene magazine each month. We're going to devote a page or two, or hopefully maybe more than that, depending on how many folks join us in Friend of Joe's, to each person that's given along with their remembrance for Joe. So that's going to be a way to signify your support of everything Helping Seniors is doing and to honor all the work that Joe did in our community. And in addition to that, of course, we will add you right away. We have a page on the Helping Seniors website. If you go to it, you'll see it on the screen here, helpingseniorsofbrevard.org/Friend of Joe. And if you go to that, you'll see the people who are already contributing and remembrance notes that they want left for Joe. Most of the notes are just wonderful. They remember how much Joe meant to them at various points in their life. Maybe it was somebody that they became acquainted with through the services of the Brevard Alzheimer's Foundation. Many are the people who Joe has reached through all the work that we've done together here at Helping Seniors of Brevard. And on top of that, we're just finding a lot of people who really just want to say, let's keep this going. Please, we want to support this and keep this going. And we are grateful for each and every donation. People think it's easy to have a nonprofit, that there's just grants, there's all kinds of money that flows down. Nothing could be further from the truth. I remember Joe saying he thought it was tougher than running a business because to be able to provide the services you provide in the community, which are free to those who get them, you have to have people who are willing to help you fund the cost to make it happen for those people. So that's why we exist at Helping Seniors of Brevard. I want to give you a couple of ways to get involved in the Friend of Joe program. First, you can give us a call, 321-473-7770. I'm going to say the number again. It's a great number to keep in mind because it is actually also the Helping Seniors helpline. So again, like 4,000 plus families made use of that number last year. We are here to serve you any way we can. But if you'd like to join Friends of Joe, just call 1-321-473-7770, and Karen or one of our great volunteers will be happy to get you signed up with all that. You can also go directly to Helping helpingseniorsofbrevard.org, and you'll see a place that you can sign up right there on the homepage. We encourage you to do that. You can do it safely and securely by credit card. If you would like to mail in a donation, maybe you still use checks, and that's a good way for you to do it. Please, by all means, send us a check. You'll see our P.O. Box information right here on the screen. That gets it directly into our secure P.O. Box, and we will be so grateful for your willingness to be a friend of Joe and help keep the work of helping seniors going forward.
I'd like to take this opportunity to speak on a matter that I think is very important. I'm a senior citizen in Brevard County, just one of many. I'm almost 80 years old. I currently receive services through a local agency for light housekeeping and Meals on Wheels. My thoughts are this concerning seniors in Brevard County. We're overlooked, we're diminished, we're treated as if we don't matter. Anytime you pick up a local publication of paper, book, or whatever, you can see save this and save that and save the other cause. There's everything in those publications except Save a Senior.
I understand that you go out and help seniors with about all kinds of things. I don't have an awful lot of money. I'm living on about $90 a week, which I live alone, but I'm on food stamps.
I'm Joe Steckler, president of Helping Seniors of Brevard. We assist and connect seniors with resources to help them age with dignity.
Thank you over and over and over again, because I found out so much valuable information since talking to you that it's so beneficial and so helpful to me and going to be cost savings.
To support Helping Seniors through your own charitable donation, you may call 321-473-7770 or donate online at helpingseniorsofbrevard.org.
And we will be so grateful for your willingness to be a friend of Joe and help keep the work of helping seniors going forward.
I'm Joe Steckler. Thank you for joining our program today. I'd like to remind you that our senior information line is available to you at 321-473-7770. There you can get help and direction that could be helpful for your specific situation or circumstances. The work of helping seniors is very important, but we can't do it alone. That is why our sponsors here in Brevard County are so important. I'd like to thank our many area sponsors, businesses, and medical providers who support the mission of helping seniors that help us carry the cost of our media efforts. If you'd like to join us either as a business partner or simply donate as an individual, we welcome your call at 321-473-7770. You are always welcome to visit our website at www.helpingseniorsofbrevard.org. Thanks so much for your help. It does make a difference.